workout until later and later in the day, and then I kind of like lazily get through my workout, and I go, oh my God, like I'm better off when I'm busy, because when I'm busy I have a structure. And I think there's a thing about like I used to think that, or I do still think that about like sober October. Like when we do sober October, I'm not drinking or doing anything for 1 month, and that structure helps me, you know. And I think when you say, oh, I'm going to cut back on my drinking, what does that even mean? Everybody I know that says that,
because I'm not a drinker, although these days I'm hearing a lot about all these delicious whiskeys in Texas, and I don't have a problem with alcohol, so I'm always willing to try.
Yeah, well, they're not really delicious. They're delicious in comparison to whiskey. Kool-Aid tastes way better.
What alcohol do you actually enjoy?
I enjoy whiskey, but I wouldn't say it's delicious.
Huh. Then why drink it? Because of the way it makes you feel?
I like the way it makes me feel. I like a little bit of the flavor. I do. It's a different thing. It's like it's a smooth weirdness to like a whiskey. You know, but it's not.
No, I'm afraid to do that.
Why?
Because I think I'll just attach that thing surgically to my mouth. I mean, I know where that line is for me. It's clarity of mind, clarity and energy. I mean, adrenaline, nicotine, like those are vices for me.
Cigarettes give you a wild head rush. I like that head rush. But I've found that there's some really good vape pens that give you that head rush, and I don't feel like they're gonna fuck your lungs up as bad.
But kids are vaping like crazy now, and that's gotta be bad.
It's not good. Well, they're also doing it all day long. And some of them
I know where
those
that line is for me.
Gigantic,
those clarity of mind, clarity and energy, adrenaline, nicotine, like those.
They're not
those
pens.
Are vices for me.
Cigarettes give you a wild head rush. They're as big as a cell phone. I found that there's some really good vape, and they have like this big robot dick hanging off of it. And they're sucking on this thing and blowing giant clouds of vape. Well, they're also doing it all day long. A lot of things can be overdone.
I know where,
but that's also the case with fast food. If you want to eat fast food all day, good luck. You're going to have a fucking heart attack. It's going to be terrible for you.
I don't think I've had a fast food in ages. I think I watched your election night episode, and there was like all the comments coming through were about there might have been a fast food hamburger on the table.
No, filet of fishes. We had a couple of filet. I love filet of fishes.
Are they good?
McDonald's filet of fish. Oh, they're delicious. Terrible for you. But it was one of those things where it's like, I don't do that every day. I don't even do that every week. I don't even do that every month.
No, clearly you take good care of yourself. I mean, for me, the vices that are, like croissants, pizza. Back to that.
Oh yeah.
But the first drag off a freshly rolled cigarette is like nothing else.
It's crazy, right?
It's unbelievable, the clarity of mind and the taste, and cigarettes smell disgusting.
Why don't you just only have a first drag?
Impossible.
You might have a problem.
It's like first drag of a cigarette, one tattoo. It's like, come on, it's impossible. Impossible.
You can't have one Lay's chips, right? In that.
Yeah, one Pringle or whatever.
Do you what vices do you have? Do you have vices?
Adrenaline used to be a vice. I used to
do risky behaviors.
Not risky in the illegal sense, but
sports stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I went cage exit shark dive and loved every second of it. Great white sharks, and until I had an air failure down there.
What happened?
I had to call over another diver and do the share air thing, and
holy shit,
I was alone in the cage.
Oh my god!
I went with my buddy Michael Muller, who's this fantastic photographer, like celebrity photographer, but he also takes pictures of sharks. We were studying fear, so we decided to go do VR of great whites off Guadalupe. I went the first year, stayed in the cage, didn't exit. We got my scuba certification. Second year, this is 2017, went out, bunch of friends. Brian McKenzie, who's kind of a performance guy and former SEAL team guy. And anyway, we're out there. I'm in the cage. 3 divers leave to do the cage exit thing with their film the VR, and I'm on the hookah line. And then at some point,
what's a hookah line?
It's a line up to the surface that you're breathing oxygen.
Oh, okay.
But I was alone in the cage, and I'd been there the year before. So the sharks are coming in all over the place, and they're huge. I mean, the girth is insane. But I'm in the cage, and they're out of the cage. And then all of a sudden, I got no air. I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
So I look up, and the hose had kind of boa constricted up on itself. So I was like, so I pop up. Remember, no scuba on me because I'm just in the cage. And the thing's like concrete, clink, clink, clink. And you're down 40 feet below the surface. It's like, oh God. So I drop down to the corner. There's a spare tank down there. Open it up. Nothing. Nothing comes out.
It's empty?
It's empty. So I go to the other reserve tank. Open it up. Nothing. Okay, so now I'm screwed. So I'm I haven't had any air in a little bit, but probably only 10, 15 seconds, but freaking out. So I get up on top of the cage, I've got a weight belt on, and I'm like, okay, I guess I shoot for the surface because I can see the boat up there. Because if I stay down here, I'm clearly gonna die. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, shooting for the surface is exactly what they like. Are they gonna eat? You know, you're just kind of, I started to kind of panic a bit.
Oh, Jesus.
And at that point, one of the divers, yeah, that's me there. That's while I'm in the cage. See, they're big. They're big animals. So
and how are they attracting these fish?
You're not allowed to chum. So they just come in. They're super good. So yeah, you film that from the cage. So
that was meat, though.
Yeah, so you can keep tuna up on the surface, but we're down in the deep cage. There's a surface cage and a deep cage. So then what happened? Yeah, Muller shot that for our VR in the lab. So then what happened was this guy, Brock, who's one of the divers, that's Muller. Muller wears a yellow suit to look more like a tuna so they come closer.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he's a... You guys would get along. He's a longtime Hollywood guy who's a kind of photographer who does these adventures. So then one of the divers saw me, and I was like, I need air, and he kind of looked at me, and so he kicked his way back over, but that was a long wait. And then we did the share air thing, but now 2 divers are out, and we're there sharing air, and there's only so much air before you eventually run out, and there's nothing in the reserves. Eventually they came back, and then we pulled the rope and got out. And it was enough of a scary experience for me that I was like, oh God. So and actually I got out, and a guy from the SEAL teams came over to me, super calm, like typical of those guys. I was like, so what do you take away from that experience? And I was like, check the safety tanks. He was like, check the safeties. But I will say this, I'm not tough. Like, this is not to kind of, inflate myself. But the next day I woke up and I was seriously freaked out. And so I actually went down the next day again, and I cage exited. And the reason I did it is because, first of all, when I cage exited, I was on scuba, so I felt totally contained. I knew I wasn't going to die of an air failure. And the other reason is everything we know about trauma and the treatment of trauma is that if you live with that bug in your brain about quote unquote almost dying, in fact, I don't even like to say that, that's stuck in you. So I went down there in the cage, and then I cage exited.
And you keep saying cage exited.
Swam out of the cage with the sharks. Turns out when they're swimming at you, if you swim toward them, they bank off. If you don't, if you shoot for the surface or something, they go, oh, you're prey, and they can go after you. But if you just swim toward them, then they bank off pretty early.
So how do you get to the surface?
Well, you get back in the cage to get back up. So you get into the cage at the top, they lower it in a crane.
Right.
Then you all go out on scuba, and then you're swimming around, getting the video. The sharks come at you, you go at them, and then they bank off.
Okay, so you're saying you cage exited, meaning you swam around with them with the scuba gear, not you went to the surface.
Correct. The next day I woke up, and I was just so distraught about what had happened the day before. I decided there's only one way to deal with this, and that's to cage exit, to go down there, but this time leave the cage, and this time leave it on scuba. And then it felt like a victory, right? I'm here.
So, but when you go up to the surface, do you go back in the cage to go back up to the surface?
Yes.
Because you don't want to just swim up to the top, because then they might bite your legs off.
Correct. But in the culture of cage exit great white shark diving, there's a interesting twist. For years, guys have been going out to Guadalupe and doing this stuff. It's a real kind of machismo culture. Who can get closest? Who can get the camera almost into the shark's mouth, etc. And for years, there was a lot of kind of one-upping and posting things online. And then a couple years ago, out of what seemed like nowhere, Ocean Ramsey, this female freediver shark expert, shows on BBC video her swimming with no scuba, with the biggest great white shark anyone's ever seen. I think they call it Big Blue, and she's holding on to the fins. So all these guys, like all this testosterone of like, oh, I cage exited and I got this close and that close, and here comes this lady and she just demolishes the scene. Like, no one has done what she's done. This shark is so big. This is her. This is insane. Her husband shot this footage, from what I understand.
Oh my God! And imagine your wife doing this, and you going, "Baby, what are you doing?"
So
she doesn't even have fucking scuba gear
she's
on.
holding on to this shark. So
it doesn't seem to mind either.
I mean, when I look at this, I mean, I get nervous. It's also beautiful. But what I love about it is, there was so much pigeon chesting around.
She looks like a fish too. I would eat her. If I was a shark, even the way her legs are with that outfit on, she looks delicious. Look at the size of that thing.
Biggest one ever seen on record.
Really?
Yeah.
How big is it?
I don't know. I mean, a 10 or 12, oh, there's someone else. A 10 or 12 foot shark is a big shark because the girth is what's freaky, right? That's probably a 16 foot shark. I'm probably going to get this wrong. I'm sure
God.
the sharkanistas will come out.
all that.
Look at this.
All
Like
that.
she's petting it or he's petting it.
Yeah, these
Amazing.
people are out of their fucking minds.
Yeah, they're out of their minds. The
You're just lucky it's not hungry.
right. And there are a
Or it
lot of
doesn't know
tuna out
what's
there.
going on.
So Guadalupe is an amazing place. It's just this big rock jutting up out of the ocean. And I wanted to learn the history of this place. Turns out that if this is true, what I was told by one of the local officials is that
Dolphins playing with them. These dolphins are fucking with them.
some politician in Mexico, his wife had an affair with some guy, and apparently they put the guy out there on the island. But the island is known, maybe that's just lore, but people were spearfishing out there and getting eaten. They were putting the bloody fish on their hip and getting munched, and so they realized this is filled with great whites. And when you drop anchor there, it's like I remember every time going out there, and we've been there twice now, I was thinking, oh, we're not going to see any sharks. You drop anchor, a shark breaches. They're everywhere. It's just shark soup.
Is it just because of the high amount of tuna?
Tuna, and I think they probably breed near there. There's something called Shark Cafe, which is not far from there, that oceanographers like to study. Anyway.
So that's one of your adrenaline things.
Yeah, that's right. So you asked
Yeah.
me. Yeah, so I used to do stuff like that, which is frankly stupid, right? Because I make my living on land, and I'd like to someday have a family and all that kind of stuff, and that's not productive for that sort of thing.
Right.
So yeah, that sort of thing is the kind of thing that I should avoid if I'm going to have a long life.
Jamie, who are you telling me that someone got their hand bitten off? One of them jackass guys?
Yeah, you didn't want to watch the video, but yeah, and Jackass, like the promo during Shark Week.
Yeah.
Got it
An
bitten off?
accident. Not off. It got
Mangled.
bitten, I guess, and it was fucked up, and he had to have surgery. And I believe he still has his hand. So
People-
Those guys are crazy, shooting themselves out of cannons. That kind of thing never appealed to me. But, I'm not a fighter. I've gotten fights when I was a kid. I loved the clarity of mind that came from the adrenaline. It was boxing in ring, so, it's fun. I mean, but I think as a 46-year-old, and where my brain is my living, this kind of thing.
Yeah, not good to get hit in the head.
What are your vices? Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah, I do like junk food occasionally. I do like to drink, probably more than I should. I enjoy. The problem is I do shows all the time. They're in nightclubs, and we have a couple cocktails, and then next thing you know, a couple is 3 or 4, and then we do podcasts. And podcasts a lot of times will be drinking. If it's anything that I should do less of, it's definitely booze. But I'm around a very boozy culture. A lot of my friends drink and drink pretty hard. And when it comes to how many of them are actually healthy, it's a fucking small number.
I always worry about the number of suicides among comedians or early deaths, like the Belushi thing. Now, granted, I'm not really aware, or Richard Pryor or things like that. It seems like stuff hits early in that community.
Well, the Belushi thing and the Pryor thing are probably both related to drugs. I was around Pryor in his dying days, unfortunately, because when he was doing really poorly, he decided to go back on stage, and I think it's like try to recapture his lost love. His body was failing him, and so the thing that excited him or got him at least to give him some sort of sense of purpose was to go back at the Comedy Store. And I worked with him for about 5, maybe 6 weeks, where he was going up all the time, and I was always going on after him. So it would be Richard Pryor and then me. And so I got to see him. They had to carry him to the stage, and then they had to put him in the chair, and then they had to crank up the sound he was really loud because his voice was, he had no energy. And I remember thinking, he's not old enough for this. Whatever this neurologically degenerative disease that he has, whether that happened because he was, had a genetic predisposition for this, or whether it's because of a lot of cocaine. Because I know a lot of people, I don't know if they're related, but I know a lot of people that did a lot of cocaine in the 70s and the 80s, and they developed some serious neurological problems as they got older.
Sure. And what it's mixed in with. I mean, one thing we know for sure is that amphetamines kill neurons.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Wouldn't cocaine have a similar effect?
It
'Cause it's a
seems
stimulant?
likely, seems very likely. I mean, the early studies of MDMA and whether or not it was neurotoxic actually one of them had to be retracted because they accidentally used a amphetamine and cocaine-like substance instead, accidentally in these monkeys, and they showed neurodegeneration.
How did they accidentally confuse MDMA with that?
Well, laboratories are, human error is a big thing.
You mean COVID-19? Is that what you're saying? You're saying the Wuhan lab?
You're saying that.
That's what I heard.
That's another discussion. Although, I mean, look, my lab works with pseudo-rabies virus, with different herpes viruses, with different adenoviruses. Humans pipette those viruses. It's the reason you have biosafety protocols. It's because people make errors and protocols prevent error.
So these people accidentally gave these animals...
Time! Yes, another year, another expansion. How long will Blizzard keep?
Final suggestion for what to do before launch is just understand the leveling path. So this is a map to get the general sense of where you're going to be leveling in Northrend, and the two starting points are Borean Tundra and Howling Fjord, and it really is preference as to which one to go for. Because I went to Borean Tundra when Wrath first launched, I'm going to go back there just for nostalgia's sake. But I know a bunch of people like going to Howling Fjord first. For your stats, you're going to want to focus on the hit cap at 8% or 5% with the 3 out of 3 focused aim talent, followed by that would be Battleground Enemies, which is a super good PvP add-on, which allows you to see all the enemies and a bunch of cooldowns. Details is a damage meter. It gives you so many good things to look at. You can see who kicked during fights, who is dealing the most damage, doing the most heal. Is win that daily. Final suggestion. Starting points are Borean Tundra and Howling Fjord, and it really is preference as to which one to go for. Because I went to Borean Tundra when Wrath first launched, I'm going to go back there just for nostalgia's sake. But I know a bunch of people like going to Howling Fjord first. For your stats, you're going to want to focus on
Gnave here. I've leveled so many characters on Warmane that I lost count. You learn some things at that time, so in this video I'll share my route of it with Shadow Meld. You see me almost dying here to those mobs, but I was able to pull out of it with Shadow Meld. Even with the rest of the dungeon being pretty easy, it took an hour and 20 minutes for the 7 levels I got there. Northrend gets pretty tough. For our last chapter, we go to the Oculus. I can't tell you how much time I spent in this instance farming leather for my first Shadow Moor. But that means I know it like the back of my hand. Notice where I leave my mage, so it can stay in range of experience, but not to be too close to the mobs. The skinning is the reason why I first started leveling characters here, as you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. However, I was going for speed in this run, so I cleared all the constructs and the platforms in order to level up more quickly. These constructs hit like a truck if they get close to you, so try to kite them before they can lay down the law. It took me 7 runs of this, or a little less than an hour, and I was finally able to hit level 80.
Interesting. Time is money, friend. Hurry back.
An amphetamine.
Right, and then later they discovered that what they had given them was not what they thought, and so they quite responsibly retracted that paper. There is evidence that high doses of any highly dopaminergic drug, so cocaine, amphetamine, things of that sort, can be neurotoxic. If you make neurons really, really active, like exceedingly active, they will die. Right, they're electrically active cells. They can die. Excitotoxicity.
Makes
There's also
sense.
neurotoxicity. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that this can happen. And yeah, I'm not saying that Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's because he was a cocaine user. I mean, I saw the movie Bright Lights, Big City. I don't know if he was actually a cocaine user or not. He was in that movie. But we've seen, I mean, amazing talent. Like, I'm a huge Joe Strummer fan, Clash. And Strummer was died so young of a heart attack. Known amphetamine user, right? Sadly. Michael J. Fox and Parkinson's, is that related to recreational drug
I don't
abuse?
know if he did anything.
I don't know.
Never
He
heard
never.
that he
I always
did.
think family ties, so I think of like this really conservative
Yeah.
kid. So I'm not saying he did. But Pryor or
Pryor
John
for sure
Candy,
did,
I don't know
yeah.
if Candy was.
Well, Candy was enormous. He was so
yeah, that
obese.
doesn't help.
And John Belushi died of a speedball. He died of mixing cocaine and heroin. The same thing that River Phoenix died from. Yeah.
I mean, there's a susceptibility. Guys I grew up with, and these names won't mean anything to people, but guys that were kind of famous in the San Francisco skateboarding, punk rock scene, a lot of them that died young, died of heart attacks 5 or 6 years after they stopped doing a lot of cocaine.
Because their body was still fucked.
I think
Yeah.
it can, I think there is evidence that it can adjust the function of calcium channels on the heart. And then later, it takes a smaller insult to put them under. Anyway,
Makes sense.
it's sad. I mean, it's not, as we were talking about with hormones and all the other things and light, et cetera, it's not just about the effect it has in the short term.
Right.
It's the long arc. And the long arc can be negative, like we're talking about, or the long arc can be positive.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm almost 55. I'll be 55 in August. And I'm very happy that I can still use my body the way I can. Because I always assumed that when someone got to be 55, they were done. Like, that your body's going to fall apart.
No, it turns out the measures, and I know Atia talks about this in a much more sophisticated way than I can, but one's ability to get up off the ground without assistance, one's ability to jump and land, one's ability to hang from a bar for a minute. These are measures not unlike blood pressure and heart rate, resting heart rate, and things of that sort, about how well your nervous system can communicate to your musculature and whether or not your musculature and ligaments and bones can handle all that. And so I think the one thing we know is that being physically active is superb at extending your life and improving your life.
Yeah,
Period.
improving your life is, I don't know how much you can really extend. Here's the deal, is like, we really don't have a lot of data on people that started working out when they were like in their early teens and kept going, supplementing their hormones, supplementing vitamins, and then got into their 50s and 60s and 70s. We don't have a lot of those people.
We don't.
Because first of all, people don't put in that kind of effort because it's not mandatory.
Right.
If you're a professional athlete, you don't put in that effort because you're not going to be a professional athlete when you're 60 and 70 years old. You're just not. So a lot of times when people that are professional athletes, they get to the point where they retire, one of the things they do is they get fat and they stop. I mean, it's really kind of bizarre.
Well, this is the old thing about that they used to say, you stop lifting weights, you'll quote unquote turn to fat, which is impossible. It was because people kept eating and they stopped training. My role model in all this is actually very perhaps surprising to some people. Recently I had Ido Portal, on the podcast.
Yeah,
you know who my hero is? His mother. He has a video of his mother when she's in her 60s. She started training at 58, and this was like 7 years ago, doing pull-ups for reps.
Wow.
Doing back bends, doing all the kind of stuff that, Ito-ish stuff, but in her 60s, which means that now she's in her early 70s, and he told me that she's still doing 5 sets of 5 pull-ups, dips.
That's crazy.
Like legitimate work. And so to me, if I can do that, if I'm dipping and I'm doing pull-ups and I'm running, then I'll consider myself a winner at that age.
I'm going to send you something, Jamie. My friend Jessie. She's a stunt woman and she does Ninja Warrior. I'll send you her. Go to Jessie Graff, GRAFFPWR. She does a lot of wild shit, but you can find videos of her mom and her working out. So her mom does these Ninja Warrior workouts, and her mom is doing chin-ups and all kinds of wild stuff. Her mom is super, super impressive. Like, this is her mother.
Oh, look, Ocean Ramsey commented, the shark person.
Ah, there you go.
So they're all in a club of badasses.
So I met Jessie at Terran Tactical. She was working on her gun skills. But look at her mom.
Amazing.
Like swinging and catching chin-up bars and doing all this wild stuff. And Jessie, she does those Ninja Warrior competitions and, like I said, a lot of stunt work as well. She's like super physically fit. But there's a bunch of videos of her mom and her going through these like incredible workouts together. And her mom is just amazingly fit.
That's awesome.
But it's like, just keep going. The thing is like to keep using your body. If you stop, it's very difficult to sort of regain that kind of mobility and physical strength and coordination and your VO2 max and all that stuff. But if you don't stop and you just continue, as long as you're smart about it and you don't push yourself too hard, you don't injure yourself. And injuries are a big problem, right? Because injuries require a long time where you're going to have to at least be semi-sedentary and let your body relax. At the very least, you're not going to be able to go full bore, which I think you kind of have to do. Your body has to know, hey, this crazy fuck wants to do this stuff all the time. We need to have that kind of mobility, that kind of physical strength, that kind of joint function.
Well, I think that the transition from unfit to fit is where people see the most dramatic effects.
Yes.
And that should be encouraging. I have a colleague, her name is Wendy Suzuki. For years she studied memory. She's at NYU. Now she's the incoming dean of students at NYU. And the reason I'm so happy about that is that she's talked about and published really good scientific studies on 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise early in the day. And now she's a 10-minute cold shower person because she lives in New York, harder to get access to ice tubs and things. Improving focus, stress resilience, cognitive function. I mean, finally there are data to point to the fact that doing cardiovascular or weight training exercise, if it's intense enough and it comes early in the day especially, but also if you do it late in the day, they've also shown that people's cognitive function actually goes up. This was all correlative before. It was like, when you exercise, your heart, your cardiovascular system is better, therefore your brain is better, therefore there's this indirect effect on mood and performance. But now they know everything from grip strength to attention capacity to task switching. There are all these measures of like the Stroop test of all these things of cognitive flexibility, and all of that improved by physical exercise. Categorically, over and over. It doesn't matter if it's boys, girls, men, women, what age. And so now we no longer have to speculate as to whether or not exercise is good for the brain also. It absolutely is. And her work is now being transferred into basically curriculum for students. Her goal is that students are going to go through college not just getting their grades, but coming out healthier than they came in. And hopefully that'll wick out to everybody, not just people in college, obviously, but will wick out to everybody. So they're going to be running studies, getting data from these kids. I think it's really important because I think that everything is kind of murky and kind of indirect up to a point, and now they're actually really solid data.
Well, there's also this prejudice, unfortunately, that anything physical is not an intellectual pursuit, that it's almost the opposite. It's a vanity pursuit.
That's ridiculous.
But that is a prejudice that many really intelligent people, otherwise intelligent people have, right?
Yeah. Well, a colleague at Columbia has a Nobel Prize, Richard Axel, plays squash like multiple times per week. He used to play basketball, though he says not very well. Eric Kendall, Nobel Prize for research on memory. Swam a mile 3 times a week. Now it's half a mile because in the late 90s he still does it. Torsten Wiesel, Nobel Prize for vision. My scientific great-grandparents, 96 years old, still jogs every morning, 45 minutes.
Wow.
And still mentally sharp. Right, so the smartest people, most accomplished scientists I know, all extremely physically active for decades. So whatever smart people think that physical activity is just for meatheads and jocks, they're obviously not smart enough to know how it really works.
It's just like, it's not that they're not smart, it's just this unfortunate prejudice that people adopt and then have a very difficult time shedding. You know, I think they associate physical fitness and physical activity with being a pursuit of people that are kind of like clodhoppers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's also a little bit of the tone that came back to me early on. Like, some colleagues have been really interested in, like, oh, I'm really excited about, eating more omegas or eating more fish or, whatever, taking athletic greens, etc. And then some of them, like, oh, it's all pills and powder kind of stuff. They see it as over there. And when don't realize that, sure, you don't need those things, but a general theme of taking care of oneself physically does translate to taking care of oneself mentally. The reverse is not true, right? Plenty of intellectual, smart people who look like melted candles, right? And who function like melting it. They sleep with their mouth open, they have sleep apnea, and they're a wreck. And that wreck shows up somewhere in their 60s, and I see this all the time because I've attended no fewer than 10 funerals for brilliant people.
Yeah.
And those funerals, with one or two exceptions, were all because they took terrible care of themselves.
Well, in my world, in the comedy world, obviously I see that because most of my friends don't take care of themselves. You know, there's a good percentage of people in that world, when they get to a certain age, like there's friends that are my age and they look like they're my dad.
I almost wonder whether or not they somehow pair the idea that their talent and their ability is linked to their being unhealthy.
Oh yeah, there's many,
which is crazy,
but it's just an excuse. It's just an excuse. It really is. It's like a thing. I used to think that I shouldn't meditate, and because meditation and any sort of enlightenment would fuck with my comedy, because it would somehow or another make me more peaceful and kind, and that wouldn't be good for
You'd
comedy.
lose your edge.
Yeah, but it's really just an excuse. It's just an excuse. Comedy's a totally different thing. It's an art form. It's not going to fuck your art form up. But, when you're young and insecure, you don't really understand why you're funny at all. So you're like, what if I fuck it up? What if I lose it? It's a fleeting thing as it is. I'm only funny like 5 out of 6 times right now. But
if you look at the top people, let's say you, or you look at a Chappelle, or you look at like the people that are, like I talked about, like 3 Nobel Prize winners, that their work will carry on for health and science for thousands of years if we exist that long.
Yeah.
So in that top tier, they get it. In the lower tier, I don't know. But in the middle tier is where I see a lot of the unfortunate behavior of not preserving oneself. So if you look at like the best of the best, do you see good self-care there?
The most important thing is focus on your craft. That's the most important thing. There's a lot of great guys that they're not taking care of themselves. But like Chappelle smokes and he drinks, but my God, he focuses on his craft. Like, he really cares about comedy, and he cares a lot about it, and he's a really interesting, thoughtful person. He spends a lot of time thinking. He's not flippant in his perceptions and his thoughts. That's the most important thing. Focus on your craft. There is a great benefit to being healthy. Great benefit in many, many, many ways. In emotional stability and your ability to have energy to keep going. And that's one of the things that I try to relay to young people that aren't that healthy but are young comics. I say, don't think of it as like, I don't want to be an athlete, I want to be a comic. Think of it as your vehicle for doing anything is your physical body. That's all you have. When you're tired, like you do 2 shows a night, like 2 shows a night is weird because like it's not just you're doing 2 hours of comedy. You're doing 2 hours. It's like I have a 7 o'clock show and maybe a 9:30 show, right? So that means not only am I doing an hour, but then I have to wait 2.5 hours to do another hour. And then, if you're not smart I eat fruit in between. I make sure that I'm, well hydrated. But I think of these things because I'm an athlete. Whereas other guys, they're fucking off and they're just drinking, and the second show rolls around and they're drunk and they're tired. I've been there before and I've had bad shows because of that. It's very embarrassing. And so you have to really be careful when you're looking at your body. Don't look at it as it's just life. I'm just living life. Like, no, there's a specific thing you're going to need out of you. You're going to need to have a certain amount of energy. You're going to need to have a certain amount of tension, and you're going to need that in about 2 hours. So prepare wisely.
I'm just thinking about 2 shows a night. We did some live shows recently and related to the podcast, and it was draining. Oh my goodness. I much prefer to be behind the microphone.
Well, it's draining if you're not accustomed to it, but if you're accustomed to it, it becomes invigorating. It's not, like when I get home from a show, I'm not drained. I'm usually excited.
I mean, I enjoyed it. It was nice to interact with people because
Yeah.
podcasting a little bit like shouting into a tunnel, especially the solo episodes.
It's nice to know there's people out there listening.
Yeah.
You see them.
Definitely. It was
Yeah.
it was nice, and to get questions in person felt really good. And it's a lot like the classroom that I came up in, lecturing as the little kid at the carnivals. And
Right.
then, the
Right.
carnivals. It makes it sound like I was a carny, but I wasn't a carny. But
Just telling people about chlorine.
Oh my goodness. Dechlor. I could tell you more about aquaria and fish tanks than you ever want to know. I always say, if nothing else, I'm going to cure insomnia.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you very much, and I appreciate your podcast and all the information that you put out there. You very, very much helped me. And I think people like you are a really valuable resource, and I'm really glad that you're not just contained to classrooms, and that putting out that podcast and making it accessible to so many people, it's really, really valuable. So thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you've been a huge inspiration. You and Lex and a few others have really paved this road, and I'm very grateful. I do believe that people should have access to information and education, and so just trying to do it.
We're super fortunate that we have these kind of platforms, that this exists, because this has never been a thing in history before, and it's a thing now. We're very lucky.
And now they can't put the lid back on.
Now they're fucked. All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
What the fuck? Just tell me the UFO story.
All right.
Bypasses tomorrow, like.
Well, first, I'm going to tell you about my dad real quick. My dad is...
Okay, there's people in the orange tundra. I will just it now.
Are you waiting for NPC?
I got experience. Yeah, X-Monitor Doom is pretty fucked now because that fucking degenerates.
Portal done.
Yeah,
Can we
Okay.
turn in maybe while he goes here?
No,
You can. Table is right next to the portal to fix the table if you need it.
Let's just
Okay, fuck.
What? Okay. Right.
Invite me immediately at adventure, please. You invite me.
You're still in the group.
Yeah, I leave the party. You need to turn it into group again.
Benji?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fine. We have
Edgar and...
Oh, what
as in the other people. Benji, can you follow me? Kill the mob.
There's no 171 in it, at least on hard.
It would be hard, right? We're not even halfway.
The missing Magistrix?
After this.
After this.
Can you fucking go?
Thug, thug.
Loot him. And then leave group. Don't loot the idiot yet. Because we know.
Right?
The quest Magistra shit? Moment, Jesus.
Try Hala? I don't know.
No. Way too
Okay.
much.
Then just click it away, I guess.
Turn in Gagara.
It's,
Not the middle
Allah.
one with the crystal border?
No, it's the alliances.
Oh, okay.
No one said it.
Well, maybe we can.
So nice to see.
Turn in plus start flying. That's 1 month. Oh, there's 2 pointers.
So we done the quest in the middle, or?
No, we do go the elite class now.
80.
Yeah, but we turn in this one when I
Yes,
ping.
yes.
Oh.
Do you see any?
This. Then just
I
run
have
right
an acorn.
There's dragon here. I can just.
Me too. So,
I need 2 more.
Okay. And what is the other quest we have to do?
The rider. There's a named mob on a horse. Looks like DK.
Okay.
Here's
So
one
we
more.
have to wait the respawn, right?
Yeah, but we don't wait.
He is already his. So I make next.
We do 3 and then the other 2 wait for us. Everyone done with the ruby thing now?
What game is it? Blue or green?
The green. Let's see if that works.
Ah, okay.
Now he's talking some shit.
Go away from him
Yeah. They're running. Hey, they're speeding.
of a level in like how many? 20 minutes? Netherstorm is crazy.
And I missed half the shit. Search.
Same.
Turn in, exactly. If you have teleport this, you can cancel.
Aura stuff.
Yeah, no. You have to
not
kill the
just
guy.
amazing.
Just attack the guy upstairs
There.
already. Just, it's like a special weapon. Might even be elite.
Named.
Loot him. Don't turn in the quest immediately. Now we need to like do it with a countdown. There's an RP event going on.
Turn off Leotrix.
No, just
Does it
don't
help?
turn it in immediately. Go for it. Just wait until everyone is ready.
Then he off.
Yes, even Benny. So just go next near him.
What did? Another package. Segeln entfachen. Feuer voll.
Flame.
Sails on both sides of the place and kill the captain. Okay, yeah. So there's a fire.
Yeah. And use on the cannoneer the shit out. Rook shot. Yeah, I mean, there is. Oh, 13,000.
Yeah, this is ship name, I think.
Where is the cannoneer? Ah, it's down here. Okay.
Is she downstairs?
On me downstairs, yeah. Is this just kill or item?
Kill.
Kill, okay.
Thanks.
He's down. Guys, are you coming?
We had 7 million deckmates here.
Where are you going, Daffy?
Yeah, but we still have
Yeah, move.
Yeah.
Now, you guys need to get one more quest. It's called... No, was Danny macht. Wir könnten theoretisch laut Command... It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but if you do dungeons as a healer, you get one of those bags for every time you clear as well. So I was getting 4 of those bags an hour as well.
It's ridiculous what amount of gold you are doing with this shit.
Anyway, yeah, just in raw gold from vendoring shit and picking up gold, I'm up almost 1,000 in those 6 levels.
Yeah, that's
I
why...
haven't even sold a single one of those potions or elixirs yet.
So I did now while questing from 70 to nearly 79, around 5k gold.
Damn.
We have to destroy these vials and shit and get the shards.
Really could do 4-man dungeon cleave rider.
Let's just leave this area, then winter's
What's better for soloing reds? Kings or might?
Kings.
What?
Yeah, I was thinking might as well. It's a lot of attack power.
Over all stats. Ah, it's way too late for some questions like that for me.
Oh man, so many herbs. Noise.
Depends anyway on what you're doing. If you need sustain, then kings. If you need raw damage, then might.
So many fucking herbs.
Because everything is like undead here anyway, you usually like 3-shot them single mobs anyway. Judgment, Crusader, and Exorcism. Oh wait, I need more shots.
It's too far away.
I don't know how much do we need. Where do I see that?
10 total, but we don't see it like...
Okay, I have 9. Now I have 10.
6
I have 3, mate. You do too much.
You're too slow.
Yeah.
I'm not even knowing if I'm doing everything correct anymore.
It's getting out of hand, man.
There is a chain to the Juggernaut.
Chain to do what?
after the drop item.
No,
Because
idea. I've never done this. Maybe I've done it once. I think I've done all the experiments. Long time ago.
What we have to do now?
Good thing is this dropping 100%.
Mogra! Farewell.
On me, you can look wherever. 3 mobs.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out!
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night! All day!
How many times have you smoked a cigar?
I don't know if I've smoked one before. We open that again one time, sorry.
I would just pull it down. Yeah, flip the top. There you go. And then pull that down. There you go. How would you not know whether or not you've smoked a cigar?
Well, I used to work at this business company. I worked at this insurance company. I did paperwork, not paperwork, but I like mailed papers for them. And like mailings, I guess.
Again.
I guess that's paperwork.
Yeah.
And the man had a lot of nice cigars.
Is supposed to be in Crusader Square, which is just ahead. Tell me when you're ready to move forward.
Man, I sure hope he drops them out. I wish we could get that one in game. The hailstorm? Look at that. Is that even a hailstorm? I think it is. Yeah, that was a lot of damage. What hit me for? Oh, fuck. The amount dropped. That's crazy. I can't believe it. Wow. Who's gonna win it? Oh, Roy won the mount. Damn.
Order on will, justice will be done.
So what caused the bug yesterday? I don't know. Maybe so deep yes in the end? Let's just assume it won't happen again. Yeah.
Shit, am I not going this one? Is that a joke? Okay. But I'm fucking dead. What the hell, man?
Produto destinado a adultos.
Grandes times se formam com grandes líderes. Ok, vamos nessa. Preparem-se. Líderes que inspiram você a se superar e encontrar o momento perfeito para agir. Ataquem!
É, mano, vou nem arriscar, louco. Tá louco, velho.
God, thank you, dude. Oh.
dog. There's one. Right, exits right here. Bottom.
A shield is not enough to protect the most important things. That's why I must also speak.
Through me, justice is served.
If we're unhappy, we should speak up and let our voices be heard. All eyes on me.
Life for the Desert Dwellers has been brutal ever since the Scarlet King's death all those years ago.
Exit scene. There's an orb right above the exit. Just going to leave that there for my convenience. That was 2 apparently. Hell yeah. Yes, internal. Well observed. There has been a lot of large levels on this Cosmic Ocean seed. I like that one. Keep it simple, keep it cool. I'll stay alive if you do that. Okay. Where's the exit, though? Oh man, that grub got me good. Alright, well that's literally what the Ankh is for. Let's be a little bit careful with our health here, but just spelunky things. Just spelunky things. Where is this exit at? Here it is. All the frogs. Like this then. Put the urn down where we're supposed to drop through, which is right here, right? Interesting. I guess that makes sense. Okay, we're alive. I would honestly call that death rather random. Took a hit at unfortunate time, dropped into spikes. Good use of our Ankh. Wow, that exit's pretty jacked, man. Alright, couple more levels here for the halfway point. Don't mind seeing this level. We can get a lot of health from grubs if we're careful. Sure. Alright then. Break it even. Okay, that's 2. This is 3. I still don't know where the exit is exactly. Gotta be kind of below this. Okay, there's an arrow stub falling through the level. It's a problem. Okay, see the edge of it here? There it is. You know what? I've already committed to a bunch of resources. Let's just keep going. Skulls. Okay, it's right there. Where is this orb again? Oh no, I lost it. Here it is. I'm gonna go around the outside. This one. Wowzy, what a huge level that was. Theme of the day. Okay, that's a good last orb. That. One. Alright, one more level for the next tier of the prediction. Make it a good one here. Okay, I saw that poison spit, and I did. Poison's a very big issue right now since I have only 8 health. There's one source of it. Okay, there's Mad Crocoman on the level. Spider now too. Okay, he got bonked by the orb, which is good.
Got steel recharging.
What?
I can't do that yet.
Get me out of here, dude. Alright. Woo! Well, here at the halfway mark, we've lost our Ankh. We're doing great on resources. Still got a live run going here. Slowly accumulating a health pool back as well. I'm going to take a short break here with halfway the prediction remaining and halfway through Cosmic Ocean. Been an awesome daily so far. Win, lose, or draw. It's been an awesome one. See if we can continue and complete when I return in just a moment. Alrighty, we back. 751, here we go. I would say this stage is really dangerous for chip damage, but be careful. I mean, health-wise, we're going to lose our run in one of three ways. One, we're going to take too much chip damage. Two, we get hit by something that would have done 99 HP damage anyways. With three, we get poisoned. 1, here's 2, here's 3. A little bit higher than I thought. Oh, hey, howdy do. How do, friend? Okay, there's the exit right there. That's nice. Yeah, I'll take that style of temple every day. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, here we go. Gotta wait for him to turn around real quick, and then I'm gonna turn him back towards the wall. There we go. There it is. Okay, I do see snake poison on the one side here. There could also be Crocoman loose because he fired to the right direction. So there's two trains of thought here. One is I can go all the way up to 99 and then hang out in the ceiling waiting for the 3-minute jelly. And then do the level slowly with resources. Or two, I can leave a little bit early with about 50 health or so. Either way, we have a health pool that's capable of sustaining some poison time. I'm gonna go all the way up. I'm gonna use resources and time to complete this level and get all the way to 99. Thinking if I do end up getting poisoned at some point on this run, which I hope I don't, having the higher health pool will give us enough time to actually get through without having to rush super hard. This is enough. That was 2. That means that the mummy popped one with the bugs. Okay, no thanks. Is this what's going off the edge? No, it's not. This is what's going off the edge right here. It's one source of poison down. Problem I'm currently having is I do not know where Orb 3 is. I'll be over here. Okay, the 3-minute jelly is about to come in. I'm gonna let that happen. Okay, here it is. Letting that happen. There's Orb 3. That is some hazard for sure. What can I depth charge this? There was a point where I could have. Yo. Hey, All King, thanks for 64 months. Appreciate that. Back-to-back levels with a Thwomp Crush entrance. Unreal.
God steel recharge in.
There's a bee. There's not an angry Crocoman. Okay, there's poison. I see that. Oh no. That's fine. That's true. It's 2, huh? Get me out of here. Alright, back to the jungle where we belong.
Isn't ready yet.
A lot of boomerang action here. Gotta respect the boomerang. It's 2. Alright, that's orb 3. Where's the exit from here? There it is. I'm just gonna clean this up and then we'll trek back. Okay, what's on the exit there? Man trap. I'm gonna fix that too. Okay, that's worth a rope to me. Still got 50 ropes. I've been doing a great job of managing that. Is it really that far up? Yes, it is. Wouldn't be surprised if I pop this and then the jelly comes from the opposite way I want it to. Very unsurprising. Okay, no, that's fine. But yeah. That is definitely a thing you could do, game. Later, Tater. Hey, thanks, Abysmal. It's definitely a journey. Almost 3 months of playing straight to get my first Cosmic Ocean victory. I'm pretty smooth sailing since then. Grateful to have this awesome game as part of our staple rotation. WotLK 2 is awesome.
Oh, I have a deal for you. Right back.
Didn't see or hear the explosion on that. Class 2. Boy, weird level going on here, man. Okay. Okay, it's not a very wide level. Oh, it's just not a very deep level. It is wide, though. I see it now. Ew. Alright, my goal here is to not use the outer portion of the level. It's a goal on any level that has arrow traps, so Sunken Temple and well. Oh, it's raining bones. Get out of here, sticky bone. Talking to you, bud. Fuck it up. That's fair. I deserve that. Just had to keep it cool, that's all. Hell yeah, keep giving me dwelling, please. I'd love that. Get like 20 dwellings in a row, I'd be very happy. Didn't see that. That definitely could have killed us. Well, hell yeah. Here it is. That's the one. Alright, it's one of these. I believe this is 3, right? Oh, it's 1. Guess I don't know what's going on there. That's fair. Here's the exit, finally. I'm gonna cut it here. Doing great on resources still. Okay, I definitely want that to be 3. Let's find out where the other orb is, right here. Butte. How did that get popped there? Skull? No. Alright, This level's not big. This orb has to be bottom right then. Okay, let's gone off. Oops. Okay, I saw the jelly tail there.
Got steel recharge in. I can't cast out yet.
Shotguns, quite excessive in Cosmic Ocean since the bullets don't expire. Very, very dangerous for the player. Down here somewhere.
I can't do that yet.
Yo, Vicious Sig, thanks for 71 months. Enjoy that lurk. Random Hero, thanks for 11 months as well. Do a lurker roll call 6.5 hours into our Friday show. If you're lurking in the channel, meaning you're an active watcher but not an active chatter, you have the capability to, and you want to. Now's your time to post some of your favorite emotes in the chat. Thank you all for your silent contribution. You truly are the lifeblood of this entire site, but none more so than this channel here. Appreciate you very much. Look at all those beautiful lurkers. What's up, Archmage Thrawn, Beef Jerky Yum, Gamer MVP, Warpstone, Ornilla, Euphorcorpus, the Flank, Bukowski, the Coyote Kyle, Tabby, Sage Sunday, Casually, and all the rest. Yo, Sage Sunday, thanks for 72 months, 6 years as well. Too kind. Too kind. Alright, we've definitely heard at least one go off there. I think this might be 3.